everyone, Hunter and Rhea here with the Swaner Preserve and Eco Center. I'm Hunter, this is Rhea. We're going to talk to you a little bit today about signs of animals in the winter, tracks, scat, animal homes, all that kinds of fun stuff. So join us for a little tour of the preserve and we'll get ready to go.
We came across some tracks here in the fresh snow. I've got my favorite track guide with me. This is a super helpful waterproof guide that we love to bring out on the preserve, and it has all types of patterns. So when we look at tracks, we try to classify them into how the animal moves. These tracks right here that we have, here's one set. This is made by a hopper. So based on the size of these tracks, I'm guessing this is mountain cottontail. Rabbits and cottontails have super distinctive patterns when they're moving. They have these two big marks in the front right here and smaller ones in the back. And what that is their big back feet landing in front of them when they bound, and their smaller front feet landing behind them.
Another common sign of animals that we see in the winter is scat. Do you know what scat is? Scat is poop. So right here we found some rabbit scat. We can tell that it's rabbit scat because it's pretty round and it's right with some rabbit tracks. And that's an easy way to tell that for sure a rabbit has been here.
Here we're seeing a cool intersection of a couple of different tracks. So just because tracks cross over like this doesn't mean they were here at the same time. These tracks are made by two different hoppers. The cool thing about these tracks here is the noticeable size difference. We're seeing a smaller hopper track, and we're seeing a much larger hopper track go out onto the preserve. These are a hopper as well, but are much larger. You can see comparatively just how long one set of tracks is. We believe that this is a white-tailed jackrabbit, which is a much larger rabbit. It's also much heavier. You can see how much deeper it's going into the snow and also dragging its feet to get out of there. They can move really, really quickly with these huge back feet as it goes out onto the preserve.
Okay, so we've dug a little pit here to talk a little bit about the Subnivian Zone that we see here on the preserve. And that is the area between the ground and the top of the snow. So animals like mice and voles are some animals that live in the Subnivian Zone. And those are animals that normally burrow under the ground in the summertime. However, when the ground freezes, it's really hard to burrow underneath. So they actually live in the snow. They'll dig burrows in there. They dig tunnels to get around. One of the reasons that they go into the Subnivian Zone, snow acts as an insulator and can help to keep them really warm. We actually brought some thermometers out here with us today so we could see the difference in the temperature under the snow down in the Subnivian layer and here out in the air. So I'm reading the air temperature is 11.3 degrees Fahrenheit, and our temperature on our thermometer down in the Subnivian Zone is 29.3 degrees Fahrenheit. When you add the body heat of those animals in there, it will even go up a little bit higher. So they'll be able to stay above freezing under the snow, whereas if they had to stay out here, they would probably freeze.
One of my favorite tracks to see is where a bird has landed on the preserve. There are a lot of birds that are predators that we see in this area. Owls, hawks, eagles, falcons, and oftentimes we'll see maybe an ermine or mountain cottontail track hopping along, and it might abruptly end with some wing marks, maybe signs of a struggle. We didn't see that today, but one of my favorite things to see, and I'm always really excited when we spot those.
So right here we have found what we think are some ermine tracks. An ermine is a short-tailed weasel. They look a little bit like a ferret. They're pretty tiny, and they do something really cool. They change color in the winter. So in the winter they're white, and in the summer they're brown. So here we're seeing a series of tracks that are in a line. They're a little older, so they have some fresh snow on top of them, but based on the pattern of the tracks, this is a bounder. A bounder is an animal that's going to move 2 feet at a time. So they're going to move their front feet, and then they're going to move their back feet together, and their front feet and their back feet.
Here are some much fresher ermine tracks. You can see those little double feet here, double feet here. One of my favorite things to find in the spring is ermine nests. So ermines are really cute. They are predators and they eat mice and voles and they line their nests with their fur. And in the spring we often see kind of these wads of fur where they've been nesting all winter. Thanks guys for joining us today while we're out looking for tracks on the preserve. You can be a nature detective too and look for tracks in your neighborhood. Animals like skunks, porcupines, coyotes, elk, deer, they are all active in the winter and will leave tracks that you can look for. If you want to come out on the preserve and look for tracks with us, you can come on a snowshoe tour. You can come get one of our great track books in the gift shop as well. We'd love to see photos of tracks that you find. Send us your photos, put them in social media comments. We'd love to see those. Thanks for joining Hunter and I. We'll see you next time.